is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Sun.
Last night in Seattle, Ketel Marte stole the show, going 4 for 5, including providing the game-winning 3-run home run as the Mariners stopped the Rays' winning streak at 4. Tonight, lefty Drew Smyly goes to the hill, looking to get Tampa Bay back on track. Late night with the Rays from the great Northwest starts now. We greet you on a gorgeous night from the Emerald City of Seattle, Washington, where tonight the Rays hope to get even in this series after dropping last night's game 5-2. The Rays and the Mariners square off in game 2. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to an evening of Rays baseball with Brian Anderson, Dwayne Stats. Great to have you with us on this edition of Late Night with the Rays. Drew Smyly goes to the mound for the Rays tonight. He has been extremely consistent, and by the way, faces the Seattle club in a Rays uniform for the first time tonight.
Well, listen, and the run that he's been on, you go over his last 5 starts, and Drew Smyly has given up 2 earned runs or fewer in all 5 of the starts. The numbers are outstanding. The record, not so much. He's not getting a lot of support. The ERA is great. The opponent's average of 150. He's given up 17 hits in 33 innings to go along with 42 strikeouts and just 7 walks, a 6-to-1 ratio. And he does it because he's mixing all 4 of his pitches, all quadrants of the strike zone, and look for him to continue that against this hot Mariner lineup here tonight.
It's a matchup of lefties. The Rays have faced Wade Miley before, although that was in a Boston Red Sox uniform. He's 3-2 lifetime in 7 starts against the Rays. And Drew Smyly has faced this team before, 2 starts, 0-1, but that was in a Detroit Tiger uniform. On this late night with the Rays, more on Kevin Kiermaier, KK, and TK. Our own Todd Callis explains when we come back.
Welcome to Late Night with the Rays, where you can learn a little more about Kevin Kiermaier.
Another night of Late Night with the Rays from Seattle as the sun is setting on the West Coast. Rays and the Mariners middle game of this 3-game series. Tampa Bay 3-1 so far. 3-game sweep in Anaheim. They lost last night in the opening game here to the Seattle Mariners 5-2. Another night of Kevin Kiermaier, Late Night with the Rays. Kiermaier grew up in Indiana, a Cubs fan. So we asked Kevin if there was anyone in particular, center fielder-wise, that he followed as a kid.
I love watching Sammy Sosa. Sammy Sosa, what I remember, he would sprint from the dugout, because in Wrigley they're in third base, and he would sprint all the way to right field and do his little thing where he'd peel off and salute the fans, and he was on a dead sprint the whole time, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever. And me and my brothers were always emulating Sammy Sosa in our backyard, doing a little home run trot when we hit our wiffle ball over our chain link fence. So he was definitely the guy who I love watching play.
He said there wasn't anybody in particular in center field that he followed, but he loved Sammy Sosa and that run he made every game into the Wrigley Field right field area. We're ready for baseball. Countdown to first pitch in 3 minutes and 13 seconds. Dwayne Stats and Brian Anderson next.
Welcome back to Seattle, where the Rays and the Mariners square off again tonight at Safeco Field. Rays start tonight tied for third in the American League East at the 500 mark with 15 wins and 15 defeats. Tonight's starting lineup presented by your Southern Ford dealers. The DH tonight will be Brandon Geyer. Brad Miller hits second at short, and Evan Longoria at third hits third. Steve Pearce, the first baseman, in the cleanup spot in front of Steven Souza Jr. Desmond Jennings in left. Tim Beck will be there at second base, hitting seventh. Beckham in the place of Forsythe. Kevin Kiermaier in center. Kurt Casale will hit ninth and do the catching.
And they'll be facing off against left-hander Wade Miley, making his 7th start of the season. And what a turnaround it's been. First 4 starts for Wade, he was 1-2 with a 7.04. That was before a 5-hit shutout of the Kansas City Royals and 6 strong innings in his last outing against the Houston Astros to get those numbers where they are today.
And in steps Brandon Geyer, taking the first pitch, and that's a ball. So we are underway. See Geyer's numbers healthy at 327, 333 against lefties. And he lifts this one into center. That's Martin back there to make the catch.
Well, let's go ahead and set that Seattle defense for you here tonight. Brought to you by Gold and Diamond Source. In the outfield left to right, we have Franklin Gutierrez and Leonis Martin and Nelson Cruz. Across the infield, third to first, Luis Sardinas, Ketel Marte, Robinson Cano, and Dae-Ho Lee with Chris Iannetta behind the plate.
And here's the former Seattle Mariner. Now the Rays shortstop, Brad Miller. Goes after the first one and lofts it back a third. Sardinas runs to the base of the stands there behind the dugout, but it's out of play.
Well, in this Rays lineup, you know, they're aggressive pretty much every night. They will be aggressive tonight. Wade Miley's been extremely efficient this year, averaging 15 pitches per inning. A lot of strikes.
Ground ball right side, and Cano grabs it. It's tossed to first in time. Fly ball and a ground ball, 2 up, 2 down. Well, you're right about Miley and Smiley, both quick workers. And when they're right, very few pitches.
Just have that mindset of, you know, I've got a plan, need to pitch ahead to be successful, so I'm going to throw strikes, quality strikes, and then I'm not going to waste any time. I'm just going to try to put you away.
Here's Evan Longoria, 5 career hits off this lefty, and 2 have gone for home runs. Pitches in a bit, 1 ball and no strikes. 1-1. Just like that, Miley, after missing on the first pitch, is ahead a ball and 2 strikes.
And here's that tempo being put into practice, not wasting any time. Get it, throw it.
And a close pitch.
How in the
right
world
there
do you call the previous 2 and miss that one?
So it's 2-2 the count. And there is strike 3 call. So Jerry Lane has both Longoria and Miley scratching their heads. First inning coming up. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for Seattle, presented by your Southern Ford dealers. Ketel Marte is going to be in the leadoff spot tonight, followed by Franklin Gutierrez, Robinson Cano, then Nelson Cruz, Chris Iannetta, Seager Lee, Sardinez, and Martin, completing the lineup put together by Scott Service.
Well, Drew Smyly's numbers on the season, outside of the win-loss record, a lot of that he can't control, but the ERA, 39 2/3 innings, has given up just 23 hits, and then you see the strikeouts.
First pitch to Marte, coming off a 4-hit night last night, including the big home run that decided the game. That's a strike, and it's 1-1. One and two. Marte had a couple doubles, a single, and the home run before the Rays finally got him out on a ground ball to short his last time up last night. And there's a base hit out of the reach of Miller.
You know, and that's, we talked about it in the pregame show about his hand-eye coordination and how impressive it is and how we kind of had a heads up coming in. That's a cutter moving in. Marte, 84 miles an hour. Here it comes in, and you see him get out and around the baseball and barrel it into left field. That's a Drew Smyly's not happy with himself and the execution of that pitch. Opened that door up a little bit for Marte, and he kicked it open.
There's Franklin Gutierrez, 205 average. 1-0.
Boy, Marte has just shown that ability for bat control. You know, to be able to find a way with his swing to get the barrel to the baseball, no matter where the pitch has been made, at least in this series through 6 at-bats.
Two balls, no strikes. It's just below the zone. By him. Mentioned the Rays starting tonight at 500, tied with Toronto in third place in the AL East. The Blue Jays just getting underway in San Francisco tonight. Marte's back in. Marte 3 out of 4 in the running game. That accounts for 25% of the stolen bases for Seattle. And now it's 3-1.
And Drew doing a much better job this year early on of controlling the running game. He's given up 1 stolen base in 1 attempt, but a season ago he gave up 9 and had 4 pickoffs in just 66 2/3 innings. So there was a lot of action over there at first base.
Fly ball, deep right field. Souza's going to run out of room, and that one is out of here. First home run of the year for Franklin Gutierrez, and Seattle breaks out in front 2-0.
Hard to believe with that kind of power that Gutierrez only has 1 home run on the season, because he just went opposite field at this ballpark and popped that ball over the 380 sign in right center field on a ball that's down and away. He stayed back, used his legs and his leverage, and was able to get that ball out of here. That was an impressive shot.
You know, Gutierrez, early in his stay here in Seattle, he was with Cleveland and then came here. In fact, his first year, he had 18 home runs for the Mariners and started to show some signs of that power and be a good outfielder. And then physical issues became a problem for him. Strike the count to Cano, who's red hot. And he lines a single into right field. And he continues his hot hitting. The American League Player of the Week last week. First 3 men have reached against Smiley.
Well, let's take a quick look at the Rays defense and see how it's going to line up here tonight. Brought to you by Golden Diamond Source. In that outfield left to right, we have Desmond Jennings, Kevin Kiermaier, and Steven Souza Jr. Across the infield, third to first, Longoria, Miller, Beckham, and Pierce, with Kurt Casale behind the plate.
That's singled by Cano, his first hit ever off Smiley's 1 of 8 against him now. And here's Nelson Cruz. Cruz with 5 home runs, hitting .261. The interesting hitter in this lineup tonight, Chris Iannetta, up in the 5th spot, and he is 3 for 5 in his career off Smiley. So the Mariners have moved him up.
Well, this is a team that's been swinging the bat very well here in the last little bit. Offense is heating up. Number of guys that are hot. We saw what Marte did last night. Cano just came off American League Player of the Week. The hitting streak of Seager down at third base. Well, I think he's DHing tonight. But, come on.
That's a liner toward the corner and left on an 0-2 pitch. Cano hits third. They will stop him there on the double by Cruz. 4 consecutive hits.
Drew Smiley is absolutely deadly when he gets you to 2 strikes. And that was a good 2-strike pitch. That was the I'm not messing around, I'm going to put you away. Look at the swing by Cruz. He just goes out there and kind of golfs it and flips it into the corner. Boy, you want to hit the reset button right here if you're Drew Smiley.
Well, you know, Cruz is an interesting hitter. He's got that big swing, but every once in a while you'll see him adjust with an 0-2 count, a 2-strike count. And you're right, that was a tough pitch.
That's just a reaction swing. You know, all of a sudden he's recognizing and he's able to just kind of lengthen it, and he got the barrel. You know, he's strong enough guy that if the barrel hits the baseball, it's going to jump. And that's all he did, just kind of sweeped it out into left field. It was a great adjustment, almost mid-swing.
Chris Iannetta pops it up. It's Miller at short making the call, and that's the first out. Kyle Seager comes in with a 10-game hitting streak. The designated hitter tonight. He singled his first time up in last night's game to extend his streak. Snap throw to third. Back in Cano.
You do play like that, you know, maybe you get lucky, maybe you're able to pick Cano off third base. If nothing else, you kind of shorten that secondary lead, and that maybe gives you the chance to fire him out at the plate. Although with the infield in, you don't need a whole lot of help.
Seager swings over that pitch. 1-1.
Well, now for Drew Smiley, execute pitches. Get to 2 strikes, and then look to go for the strikeout. Maybe you can wiggle out of this jam.
Two and one. Drew coming off his last start. That was Wednesday against the Dodgers. And no decision in that game, and an 8-5 Rays win. High fly ball, carries deep to right. Souza will have room. He'll make the catch. Out there, Cano tags, heads to the plate, and over to third goes Cruz. It's 3-0. Seager drives in his 20th run of the year.
And he wasn't too far away from getting that ball into the seats. There's been some solid contact here off Drew Smyly in this first inning, something that we do not see. In fact, if you look at Drew Smyly's number, how about this, Dwayne? They have 4 hits right here in the first inning. Coming into this start, he had only given up 3 hits total the first time through a lineup. 3 hits total on the season.
Yeah, and all 4 of those hits are the first 4 hitters he faced here.
Yeah.
4 hitters in a row to start the game.
That's a nightmare beginning.
First baseman Lee up there. And there's a strike. It's 0-2. Well, take a look at this.
And by the way, that's not just American League, that's all MLB, those names.
1-2. Dae-Ho Lee, the first baseman. Cruz down at third. Blocked by Casale, 2-2. Well, the home run struck by Gutierrez, the 6th given up by Smyly this year. He'd given up 5, and all of them had been against the Blue Jays. 3 in his opening start, and the other 2 starts ago. Oh, now they're going to call a balk, and the Rays are going to claim that Lane had called time. And Cash is out to push Smyly away. Lane has called the balk, and boy, it certainly appeared that he threw his hands up calling time. And the Rays are trying to keep Smyly out of there.
That's why Tom Foley ran out there. Kevin Cash is taken up with Jerry Lane. Tom Foley went out there to get in front of Drew Smyly to keep him in the game.
Well, you could certainly see why Smyly stopped when Lane threw up his arms.
That's just the natural reaction. When the home plate umpire puts his arms up, that time has been called. And so you of course stop what you're doing.
So Kevin Cash out there immediately trying to make that point, and at least he's getting a conversation. Here's another look. You could hear him call time.
Casale asked for time, Jerry Lane granted time, and then called balk.
How can you call a balk after you've called time? And they're going to rectify the problem. You could see Jerry Lane saying it was my fault. Now Scott Service wants to have a conversation with him.
Dwayne, you gave me a heads up before the game that with Jerry Lane behind the plate, you just never know what to expect. And boy, has that worked itself.
Well, that's been the case. And look, he's a great guy, and over the time of his career, which started in '89, he's been a good umpire. But he's been involved in so many situations where people do come away scratching their heads. And let's listen again. You can hear it.
I mean, that's hard to believe that happened. Calls time and then drops the balk. And I like the Rays with the little double team action too. Cash to Lane, Tom Foley to Drew Smyly.
Yeah. As soon as Cash came out, Smyly came down off the mound, and then for a moment Cash diverted his attention from Lane to Smyly until Foley could get out there. Yeah, that was strange. So back to third goes Nelson Cruz. Forget about the balk. It didn't happen, folks. And Lee swings it. He misses. He's out on strikes to retire the side. 3-run score. It's 3-0 Seattle. 7-3 as we go to the second inning. Rays down 3-0. Steve Pearce heads to the plate. Pearce, Souza Jr., and then Jennings. And they're facing Wade Miley. Ball one to Pearce. Pearce a couple home runs against left-handed pitching this year. 3 home runs overall. He shoots it down the left field line, but it's going to be foul. 1-1.
Well, the Rays want to win this ball game here tonight. They're going to have to score some runs, and there's the breakout on Steve Pearce. Pretty dramatic difference. And the Rays as a whole, they have done well against left-handed pitching, particularly left-handed starters.
2-1 the count. Miley last year with Boston 11-11 and earned on average a little under 4.5. There's a long one to left, down the line. Is that ball going to be fair? That's a fair ball, and it's gone. Home run for Steve Pearce, and the Rays do get on the board. His 4th home run of the year. And so the Rays strike back and get one of those runs back on the board.
How about this, Dwayne? The Rays have now banged out 42 home runs on the season, 30 of which are solo shots.
Well, they're going to need to get more men on base. Their on-base percentage is .295 coming into this game. And so they're hitting a lot of home runs, but just not a lot of base runners.
No. And you know what? When they have had base runners and opportunity to move guys or get them in third base less than 2, they're one of the most inefficient teams in baseball.
Chopped to third by Souza Jr. Sardinez throws him out. Well, our Toyota keys to success: highest percent of runs via the home run, and the Rays second in the major leagues to the Mets.
Yeah, and like you said, the simple fact that so many of them are solo. You know, the Rays scored 644 runs last year, considered a down year offensively, and coming into play in this game, they're on pace to score 562. Almost 80 less. 80 fewer runs than a year ago. But the thing is they put themselves into some positions to be able to get runs in third base less than 2 and have been so inefficient. That's what gives you, cause for the offense could improve. They get themselves in position to do it. They just don't get it done.
Well, you look up and down the lineup, and you would certainly think that it would improve. The moves the Rays made over the winter and through the spring, anticipating more offense than they've gotten so far. And I don't think those expectations were greedy at all. I think they were pretty realistic, and it just hasn't happened yet. 1-2. Desmond Jennings trying to snap out of the doldrums. He's one of his last 32 right now. Pearce is homered. Souza Jr. grounding out to third. Jennings has 5 career at-bats against Miley without a hit. Ground ball by the mound, and right there is Cano, just a bit to the shortstop side of second. So Cano throws him out. 2 gone. And Tim Beckham is playing at second base tonight in the place of Logan Forsythe, out with the bruised left shoulder. They list him as day-to-day. Foul ball out of play. Kevin Cass saying before the game he could be available, but you know, you really get the sense that they'd like to have him have tonight off, tomorrow, that day off, and then make sure he's 100%. You don't want to mess with an injury, especially what he's meant to this team. He's been the best player on the team
since the beginning of the 2015 season, hands down.
Two strikes, the count to Beckham. And Forsythe hit by a pitch last night. The back of the left shoulder, near the shoulder blade. He was talking before the game about exactly where that was and the nature of the discomfort. Take a look at that again from last night when Felix Hernandez hit him.
Well, he went all the way down. You can see right there the arm just kind of hanging down, limp left arm. Said there was just no function to it.
Yeah, that tells you that, you know, it struck a nerve, may have bruised a nerve or something in there. Give him a little time to work through that.
Well, for Logan to get hit by a pitch and come out of a ball game, you know it's something. I don't want to say serious, but it's something more than just a hit by pitch, because he's not one to come out of a game unless it's necessary.
Beckham battling the left-hander Wade Miley with a 2-2 count. Beckham fouls it again. We've seen Tim Beckham do this time and again and extend at bats, and often with good results.
And it's not like he's really cutting down on his swing either.
Down to short. Marte throws a strike to first. Rays get a run on the Steve Pearce home run. We're headed into the bottom of the second inning. The Rays on the board. They trail. It's a 3-1 ball game. Home run at the top of the inning to put the Rays on the board. Drew Smiley going back to the mound in Jerry Lane, and Drew getting together before he started his warm-up tosses. And a couple of smiles exchanged. Everything's good now. First pitch here in the bottom of the second is a strike to Luis Sardinez.
It's a smart move by Drew Smiley. I'm sure there were some things said there during the heat of the moment that
Well, Drew wanted to make amends and go out and say, hey, listen, you know, you get caught up in it. This is a guy behind the plate that's going to dictate some close pitches for you.
Yeah, I think you give credit to both of them, not only Smiley, and you're absolutely right about that. Smart for Smiley to do that. And I think it showed a lot of professionalism from Jerry Lane to go out, too. He met him more than halfway toward the mound to talk with him and say, hey, look, we got through the first. It's going to be good from here on out. And let's be friends on a professional level here. A strikeout of Cerdanya's. Cerdanya out on strikes. The second strikeout for Smiley. Now Martin. So all's well here. At the bottom of the second inning, Drew Smiley trying to settle in. And the Rays playing a little catch up, down by 2. Leonis Martin looks at a strike. And is quickly down in the count, 0-2.
Well, he's prone to the strikeout. Drew Smiley very good at getting the strikeout, has him in position.
He struck out 37 times in 101 at bats.
And that's much. You're not giving yourself a chance at all. Two and 2.
Smiley started the day with 47 strikeouts. David Price of Boston with 53, then Chris Archer 49. And there's a cut and a miss. So 3 consecutive strikeouts here. The last one in the first and the first 2 in the second. From $2 Kid Days to $2 Dogs, senior special to Student Rush, the Rays have something for everyone each night of the week. Check out these great specials at RaysBaseball.com/specials or call 888-FAN-RAYS. Call now. Well, 50 strikeouts on the year for Smiley, trailing only David Price now in strikeouts. 1-0 the count to Marte. And a roller to short. Miller makes the throw. I think it broke his bat, and that might be a good thing. We go to the third, 3-1 Seattle.
Kiermaier leading off for the Rays here in the third inning. We talked to Kiermaier both last night and tonight on Late Night with the Rays, and we asked him, what is his favorite day of the year?
4th of July. I absolutely love it, and I think it's one of those things, me being born in the States, I take so much pride in America. I love it here, and I think, you know, we're always playing. I love playing on 4th of July, don't get me wrong, but growing up, it'd be up at the lake and just having a great time and seeing all the boats and people around you just having the best time ever. And I miss that so much, but definitely 4th of July. I love it.
All-American boy, guys, loves the 4th.
And why not? And now in the major leagues, playing almost every 4th of July with a chance to create some fireworks of his own, perhaps, in his career. But rolls out to Marte.
We've got good news, though. This year, the Rays are at home on the 4th of July. In fact, I think it's against the Angels. And it's a matinee. It's a day game. So you can roll out of bed, go play a 1 o'clock game, and then be out of there on the 4th and have the rest of the night to have your best time of all time.
Yeah, that's the first game of the series.
Yeah.
So you're absolutely right. Way to plan ahead.
Oh, listen, that's one of the games I always check when the schedule comes out, because I always hate playing the night game on the 4th of July.
Yep.
It's like, really? Let's play a day game and then go enjoy the 4th. And that's what we're getting to do this year.
That's a strike call to Kurt Casale, down 0-2.
So you could have fireworks in the afternoon and then fireworks in the evening. A little twofer on a Monday.
Get the Rays offense going in high gear for some fireworks, and then fireworks at night. A ball, 2 strikes, the count on Casale. Two and 2. And he got him. Went up with a fastball to strike him out. 2 up, 2 down in the 3rd. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, delivers everything you've come to expect and more. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. Brandon Guyer, top of the order. Up the right side, but that will be foul. And a Souvenir bounding into the stands. What a gorgeous night. Temperature in the low 70s here, where the Rays have caught a beautiful series here in terms of weather.
You know, when I used to come up here when I played for the Angels, I don't know if I ever saw the sun, and we were up here 3 times a year.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I know.
We were talking about that earlier.
I don't know if I've seen a cloud the last few years we've come in here. It's just been gorgeous.
Our experiences have been completely different. I've been coming up here since 1990, and almost every trip has been absolutely gorgeous.
You cannot beat this area, this part of the country, this city.
Yep.
When you get a day like today, mid to upper 70s, clear, sunny, it is just gorgeous.
Guyer fouls it away. Well situated with mountains and waters and evergreens. Puget Sound, Elliott Bay here.
Sounds like you've been doing some sightseeing.
All you have to do is walk down the street. You can see all of that.
That is true. Walk down to the docks. The views from the docks.
3-2. Guyer's out on strikes. 1, 2, 3. Go the Rays. 3 up and 3 down, and there is Mount Rainier. 3-1 Seattle. Mid-3. On Fox Sports Sun is brought to you by Lazy Days RV, your RV authority. By Jeep, visit Jeep.com to learn more. By Bright House Networks. And by your local Toyota dealers. Let's go places. Franklin Gutierrez homered his first time and takes this pitch, a breaking ball, over at the knees for a strike. Foul right back. Fastball following the breaking ball.
Well, that'll be key for Drew Smyly going forward. You know, this Mariner lineup jumped him early, and so now you're going to see that mix of pitches. Try to get him back to being off balance.
And that's 2 strikes.
And that's something that Drew has shown the ability to do, is to really find a way to take a 4-pitch arsenal and mix them very well. Complement one after the other. He's going to have to do a job of that here tonight for the Rays to get back in this game.
And he strikes out Gutierrez. Goes back to get him to start the bottom of the 3rd. Strikeout number 4.
Well, there's been a lot of change of speeds to get ahead, and then once he's been able to get ahead, now it's expand the zone, and these guys are following him right out of that zone.
Robinson Cano. Cano singled and scored in the first. Started to go after that pitch up. Checking in time. A check with Trip Gibson, who's umpiring 3rd. Cano now extending his hitting streak to 10 with a base hit his first time up. 2-0. That's a strike at the knees. 2-1. We go to 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, and how about Robinson Cano's body language after that pitch went the other way? That 2-0 borderline pitch, and he was not real happy with the call. Took a very lax swing right there. You wonder, with this guy's ability, if he just locked it in and night out, how good could he be?
It's too close, full count. Well, he needs to be the mover and shaker in this lineup for the Mariners. Foul-tipped strikeout. He is out on strikes. So back-to-back strikeouts. 5 on the night.
Boy, that sharp angled fastball. High arm angle, drive that pitch downhill. That's what really separates Drew Smyly, is not only does he have the deceptive arm angle, but he can drive it downhill and he can elevate it. And he does both very well.
Nelson Cruz. Cruz doubled in the first inning. 0 for 3 last night. He did drive in a run with a sacrifice fly.
Hey, Dwayne, do you know where I can get some pine tar?
You wouldn't have to go far.
I mean,
how about that?
On his shoulder, look at the hat. Can't even see the S. And then the bat is caked pretty good. That's some good work right there with the pine tar rag.
Chopped to short. Ball stayed down. Miller makes the pickup and the throw. A 1-2-3 third. We go to the 4th. 3-1 Seattle.
All right.
Geico, great moment. May 10th, 2005, Toby Hall belts a key 3-run home run, setting the stage for Jorge Cantu, who walked it off in the ninth as the Devil Rays defeated the White Sox 7-6. In Seattle tonight, Brad Miller leading off the fourth, taking ball one from Wade Miley. Rays down by 2 runs. There's a strike, 1-1. Miller, Longoria, and Pierce due up in the inning. There's Evan on deck. Count is full.
Now, we talked about it at the beginning of the game, but the turnaround here by Wade Miley. Struggling his first 4 starts.
Now, 2 starts ago, he shut out Kansas City on 5 hits. Went the distance, didn't walk anybody. Struck out 4 in that game. 1 hop, scoop by Cano, who's over there in the hole with the shift on. That's the first out in the fourth. Rays players need your support to get to the 2016 MLB All-Star Game. Go to RaysBaseball.com/vote to submit your ballot for all of your favorite Rays players: Kiermaier, Souza, Longoria, Dickerson, and Forsythe. Vote up to 5 times every day. Vote early, vote often. Vote Rays. Go to RaysBaseball.com/vote now. Evan Longoria takes the ball too low. Holds it back, 1-1. Longoria homered to center field last night, connecting off Felix Hernandez. Both runs last night on solo home runs from Dickerson and Longoria. Pierce a home run to lead off the second inning tonight.
Well, that's been the MO of this offense here in the early part of the season. Home runs, a lot of solo home runs, a lot of strikeouts.
Well, you go back to Sunday's game when the Rays beat the Angels 3-1. 2 home runs accounting for all 3 of those runs. Miller's 2-run homer and Casali a solo home run. Full count now to Longoria.
Well, there definitely is more power sprinkled through the lineup, more capable hitters getting the ball out of the yard.
Oh, strike call. Longoria caught looking for the second time.
Well, the first time it was the fastball in, and this was the full count breaking ball, and there was nothing real special about that one. It didn't have a lot of bite to it, just kind of rolled into the zone, but Evan locked up a little bit.
4 strikeouts for Wade Miley tonight. And here's Steve Pierce, who homered down the left field line his first time. Got ahead 3-1 and kept it fair to get it out of here.
That ball was roped.
There's a strike called, and Pierce takes a look back at Jerry Lane.
Yeah, that's the pitch. Whether you're Wade Miley or Steve Pierce or Evan Longoria or whoever the right-handed hitter is, you're not sure. Sometimes it's a strike, sometimes it's not. There's no consistency in that part of the zone.
There's a high fly ball back into deep left. Gutierrez will look up, and that one is out of here. Steve Pearce on an 0-2 pitch. Hits his second home run of the night, and that will make it a one-run ball game. Steve Pearce has both hits, both home runs, accounting for both Rays runs tonight.
Well, and Wade Miley, you would think that the lesson would be learned. Steve Pearce took you out in the last at bat in an 0-2 count. If you're going to go in, you've got to get this ball way in, and that's inner half. And Steve Pearce just pulls the trigger and watches it go.
Steven Souza Jr. He takes the pitch for a strike.
Right back in it.
Fourth career multi-home run game for Steve Pearce. So Pearce playing long ball tonight. It's a one-run contest. Well, 1-1 to count on Steven Souza Jr. He shoots it foul. Out of play it goes. 1-2. Souza Jr. out on strikes to retire the side. Rays get a run on the home run, trail by a run. Pearce and the Rays too. Pearce with a couple of home runs. Our Toyota inside look on Drew Smyly. Since the deal coming over from Detroit. And here is the rankings for Smyly in the American League. Tops in ERA and those other important categories. Strikeouts per 9 innings included. He's fifth there.
They're all interwound. They all work together, and Drew Smyly, he does it quietly because he's not lighting up radar guns. That's the thing about Drew. He's mighty effective, and he does it without blowing you away with pure velocity, but boy, can he move the ball around and make you look foolish that way.
That's a strike on Chris Iannetta. Fouls this one the other way, out of play. 0-2.
Just so much deception. Tall, lanky, one of the few pitchers that works from pretty much close to over the top. Can work the ball down, work the ball up, in and out. 4 different pitches. You wonder when a game like this is done, Kurt Casale, ears are smoking, trying to think along with Drew and get those fingers down there. Sequence pitches.
And because Smyly is ready to go, you've got to match him pitch for pitch if you're the catcher back there. And not a lot of time between decisions.
right on. And I'm going to tell you something that can get frustrating is when you have a catcher back there where you can't get on the same page, where you're constantly shaking. You know, he keeps starting out with the wrong pitch, the one you don't want to go to. That can get to be frustrating for a pitcher. So you've got to be in sync and quick with the decisions that you're making.
Yeah, because that's a big part of Smiley's game as well. You take the initiative and keep that as an advantage.
Yes. And when you're out there shaking and waiting, you're kind of like, get to it.
Lined into right, base hit the other way for Iannetta. Off a 2-2 pitch. Well, that's the first hit since that 3-run first. Smiley had retired 9 in a row after the double by Cruz. And the hot Kyle Seager, he just missed a home run with a sacrifice fly to right in the first. Which is a strike.
Take that all day long. If I'm Drew Smiley, I'm just trying to pop 2 more right there.
Oh, 2.
Well, you call that a strike, and all of a sudden, you know, Seager's up there going, well, if that's a strike, I've got to try to cover it. Put a little bit of extra movement on it, take it a little further down and out of the zone, and now you're 0-2.
Try it again out there. A ball, 2 strikes.
Yeah, that's the wonderful thing about working ahead in the count, is that allows you that luxury. I'll take it a little bit further. Yeah, if he doesn't swing, I'm still 1-2. I'm still in complete control of this count.
With the fastball, foul back. Seager now with 20 runs batted in. Tossed to first on Iannetta, back in. Seager hit .266 last year with 26 home runs, 13 home runs off righties and 13 off lefties. Liner into center, and that's going to fall for a base hit. Kiermaier with the pickup. Iannetta stops at second.
You know, the fly ball that he hit deep into right field for the sacrifice in his first at-bat, and then this at-bat here shows you that those numbers off the lefties and righties are not fluky. He stays in. He's got a very sound approach at the plate.
You know, he actually hit .297 off lefties and .247 off righties.
Yeah, you don't see that. You see some guys do well off lefties being a left-handed hitter, but not to that extent. 50 points higher.
Dae-Ho Lee, and that's a strike. He takes that pitch. He had a walk and 2 singles last night. A little trouble here in the 4th with the first 2 men on. It's 1-1. Lee played a long time in Korea. Spent some time in Japan's Pacific League as well. Cut, and the count is 1-2. headed for the stands, out of play.
Well, you tie him up with that fastball. You see where it is on Fox Tracks, up above the zone. And this is all part of Drew Smyly changing eye levels. Would not be surprised at all for him to come back downstairs here, either with the cutter down and in. You can almost do anything, really. Whatever you feel most comfortable with.
And a foul ball down beyond Manny Acta, the third base coach. Well, Steve Service, the manager, had not managed anywhere before, but he has some experience on his coaching staff, including the former manager Manny Acta down there. Casey Candell at first base. Fly ball driven deep to right. Suja Jr. is going to run out of room. That's gone. Boy, that's an example of how strong Lee is. He hit that ball out, a nice easy swing to the opposite side, and he hits it out.
He flipped that ball into the stands, if that's possible, going the other way. Second opposite field home run for the Seattle Mariners. And it looked like a changeup that was off the plate, but it stayed up, and Lee just goes out and pokes it into the stands. Well, that's impressive.
And here's Luis Sardinez taking a strike. Sardinez in at third. Takes a big cut and fouls this one back. That's the 5th home run for Lee. And just look at the stroke the other way.
Boy, he kept everything back. It got good extension and good finish. And that's what allowed him, with that strength, that he's able to produce through the lower half into the swing. Well, we've seen a couple of impressive opposite field home runs here tonight.
Fly ball back into left center field. Jennings is there in front of the track. And that's the first out. Sardinez gave it a pretty good ride. Not deep enough, and Desmond Jennings tracks it down. One gone. Leonis Martin. He takes the ball. He's short and showing a potential bunt on that first pitch. The addition of Martin shores up that outfield and the ability to go get the ball in center field. There's a liner over Beckham's head and into right. It's a 4-hit inning. Martin picks up his first hit tonight.
We've not seen Drew Smyly hit this hard since he became a Ray. Really. There's been some hard hit balls here tonight. A sound approach by a hot lineup against a very good pitcher.
Back around to the top of the order, Marte hitting for the 3rd time tonight as we play in the 4th inning. That pitch is wide. The Rays have been out hit 8-2 and they trail 6-2. Nothing. Yankees beat Kansas City 10-7. Boston scored 13 on Oakland. 13-5 the final.
That offense has heated up.
Runner, a late start, and he is out at second base. Martin caught stealing with Beckham putting the tag down.
Well, Seattle playing the aggressive game here with the big lead. And Casale able to gun him down. This is something that the Rays catchers have gotten better at. Give Tim Beckham plenty of time to make that catch and get a tag down, stopping the running game. They started off giving up 15 in a row, and since then, I think 1 for 5 or 1 for 6.
Marte out front, and the count is full. The broken bat, look out. Barrel into the bat. Is behind the dugout, and Marte winds up at second base. Boy, the big barrel into the bat wound up going right over the top of the Rays dugout and into the stands.
I mean, that's scary. That was scary.
So Marte gets a base hit, an error charge to Souza Jr. Ball goes to right, and the bat goes into the stands. It's 9 hits for Seattle, the second for Marte. Jim Hickey spending time on the mound with Drew Smiley. First pitch is a strike to Gutierrez. Single home run. 1 out, another single, and a caught stealing for the second out of the inning. And a base hit and an error puts Marte at second. 0-2. Another broken bat, a looper into center. Beckham goes out there to grab it. The barrel end split in half, and part of that wound up out near shortstop. 6-2 Seattle. Go. Duke Energy, proud to support the Rays and Tampa Bay area veterans. For every game the Rays win, Duke Energy donates $1,000 to area agencies working in support of our veterans. Duke Energy, powering Florida with more than just energy by supporting our veterans and local charities as well. Desmond Jennings takes the ball. Jennings, then Beckham and Kiermaier due up. It's down 3-0. 3-1. There's that pitch up there, and it's a strike. Certainly 3-0. It's a strike. 3-1, and it's lifted into shallow center. Martin puts it away.
You know, that's an at bat right there. You know, in a 3-1 count where you get a fastball and you're not able to handle it. That's what they've been working on with Desmond Jennings. You know, he's not been able to get on top of pitches too many times. You know, and Kevin Cash was talking about too many times he's underneath the baseball, and there you get a 3-1 challenge fastball and it eats you up. I mean, that ball got in on him, bad contact, lazy little pop-up. And those are the things that they're working to rectify. And a tough slide.
Tim Beckham takes the pitch down. Yeah, you're saddled with a 1 for 34. It's tough. I mean, that puts a big dent into what you had hoped your season would be.
Well, you're talking about having to take it one day at a time, one at bat at a time, one pitch at a time. You've dug yourself such a big hole. Forget the numbers. Have a good night. Have a good at bat. I mean, that really is what it boils down to for your sanity.
Boy, the Rays with a couple of guys, you know, Logan Morrison got off to a slow start. Jennings has gotten off to a slow start. And unless you take that attitude, you can't look at the big picture now. You truly are day to day, at bat to at bat, pitch to pitch, as you try to help the team that way.
But that is all you can do. I mean, really, that's it. And it's tough because when you get idle time, it's hard not to reflect on 1 for 33, 1 for 34. But you do that, you have no chance.
Kiermaier pops it up foul. The first baseman Lee makes the catch, and it's 1-2-3 for Miley in the 5th. 6-2 Seattle.
Mariners lead the Rays 6-2, heading to the bottom half of the 5th inning. More with Kevin Kiermaier. We talked to Kevin Kiermaier on our late night with the Rays about being stranded on a deserted island. Who on his team would he want to be with?
I want Brandon Guyer on there, just sole purpose to sit here and give a hard time. I love messing with Brandon Guyer more than anyone on the team. He's fun to try to get under his skin, and I love Bryn, so it's all good fun, but I need him for entertainment purposes. Definitely a survival Logan Forsythe, the most American teammate I've possibly ever had, and he just does it all. So he could go out there, hunt if need be, whatever we'd be hunting out there. He could build a shelter. He really does it all.
So for entertainment, Brandon Geyer; for survival, Logan Forsythe. And next time we'll tell you who he would not want from his team on a deserted island. I'll give you a hint. He's in the starting lineup tonight, guys.
Well, we can't wait for that episode.
That wins. That wins. That's the photo. That all other photos for Late Night with the Rays will be measured against that photo.
And you would need the headband if you were on a deserted island.
He's so giddy. That's what he looked like all day yesterday. He was so happy.
Nelson Cruz following the Cano base hit. Cruz fouls it out of play.
I mean, what happens to make a face like that? Certainly not this game.
No, not from the Rays' perspective. Towering fly ball short left to Jennings. It's the first out in the bottom of the fifth inning. Well, the Orioles have won, the Red Sox have won, the Yankees have won, the Rays trail here, and the Blue Jays are playing in San Francisco in the bottom of the sixth inning there, and Toronto has a 1-0 lead there. Chris Iannetta. That's a pop foul right side. That's going to carry into the seats. Strike one. Ryan Webb is up in the bullpen as Smiley pitches here in the fifth. Drew coming off a 5-inning outing against the Dodgers, and that had been his shortest start since September the 7th last year against Detroit. Tapper, Smiley with a pickup. Toss to first. Cano moves up to second. Drew in the mid-80s in pitch count right now.
Well, the 2 innings where they got to him, you can see that pitch count in the first 4 hitters. 4 hits, a home run included. Franklin Gutierrez going the other way, then the big blast, and those are the ones that hurt. The 3-run shot by Lee on a 2-strike changeup that was off the plate.
Strike one on Seager. Seager singled and scored. He rode home on the Lee home run in the 4th. Seager drove in a run, a fly ball to right in the first. A single in the 4th extended his hitting streak to 11 games. Fly ball right field. Souza Jr. makes the call and the catch. A hit and the man left. We go to the 6th. 6-2 Seattle. Seattle opened the scoring when Franklin Gutierrez hit a 2-run homer in the first. Added another run in that inning. Steve Pearce hit a home run in the second. And another home run in the fourth inning. But it was the big first baseman, Dae-Ho Lee, who hit a 3-run home run in the fourth, accounting for all 3 runs and making it 6-2. So the home runs are even at 2 for each club. The Rays have had 2 solo home runs, courtesy of Steve Pearce. A 2-run homer by Gutierrez and a 3-run home run by Lee. And another run scored on the sacrifice fly, so it's 6-2.
Well, that's been the issue with the Rays in the home run ball. Certainly hitting more, 43 on the year now. 31, however, have been with nobody on. Huge percentage.
2 balls and a strike to Casale. Longoria homered last night along with Corey Dickerson. A couple of solo home runs. Rays facing Wade Miley. 29-year-old lefty out of Louisiana, just missed there, and the count is full.
It's a roll of the dice, that pitch here tonight. You may get it. He's gotten it some at-bats. You may not, and now you're at a full count.
Sally fouls it back.
I'll tell you what, though, that has been a big part of the game plan here tonight for Wade Miley against these right-handed hitters. The fastball in.
He stayed in there despite giving up that second home run to Pearce.
Well, that was one he just didn't execute, but ooh.
Well, Casale draws a walk on a pitch you can see there, just missing.
Now all around the zone there. It was the right pitch, just didn't quite get it to the zone, and that walk right there, and the Rays coming around for the 3rd time, try to piece something together.
Well, I tell you, somebody pop one. It's a brand new game.
Yeah.
Here's Brandon Guyer, 0 for 2 tonight. Pitch in on him. He pops it up foul, but it will be out of play. And Guyer does have a career home run against Wade Miley. He came into this game 3 of 13 against him. And you always get a battling at bat from Brandon Guyer.
He's the epitome of the blue collar player. I mean, you just love everything that he brings to this team. He'll do anything to help. Hit by pitch, to get on base.
You're gonna have to bring a new bat now. He broke his on that foul ball.
And you know what? He's getting a lot more playing time, and he has earned.
Yes, he has
every bit of it.
Yep. You know, he was a young player coming up. He had to adjust to playing as something other than an everyday player. And for a young talent, that's a difficult adjustment.
Well, think about it. I mean, you're coming up as a young kid, more than likely a pretty good player on every team you played on, into high school. If you went to college, in the minor leagues, you're working your way up the ladder, you're an everyday player, and you finally get to the big leagues, and it's, you may play this week once or twice. You may even get a pinch hit appearance. That's a tough adjustment to make in the toughest league in the world.
And teams purposely, we've seen them for years in this game, get a veteran player or two to fill that role because they've been around long enough and they can live with that, stay sharp. Difficult, as you point out, when you're young and you've played every day wherever you've been. That's going to be a fair ball, kicking against the sidewall. Casale heads to third. It's going to be a double for Guyer, and suddenly on a walk and a double, the Rays have a major threat in the 6th. So Guyer does come through right there. with a 2-base hit.
Able to keep it fair, just continually getting pounded in there. And you know what? You go to the well one too many times and someone's going to make an adjustment on you, and that's a big one. A leadoff walk to the 9-hole hitter, bad idea. Continually pounding Geyer in turns out to be a bad idea, and the Rays got a chance to crawl back in this.
And there's Brad Miller. He could mete out some punishment to his former team here. Strike one on the foul ball. Two ground ball outs tonight for Miller. Foul ball puts him down in the count. And action now in the bullpen. Oh, Miller's out on strikes. Big strikeout right there for Miley.
Absolutely right. He got ahead of him 0-2 and then expanded the zone there with the slider at 85. And Brandon Miller, he's starting the swing and he thought better of it, but it was too late. That's a big one. That's the case of a hitter right there that's a little bit overamped. You know in this situation how badly he wanted to come through and just got a little bit out of his game.
Evan Longoria takes one too close. Twice Evan has struck out, called out on a fastball in the first, caught looking at a breaking ball in the fourth. Now 1-1. His home run last night, he picked the deepest part of the park to take Felix Hernandez out of the yard. Center field. Oh, now he's behind in the count.
And the reaction.
Didn't like it.
No. And he shouldn't. That pitch is off the plate. He's been burned in there before. And by the way, the swing from 2-1 to 1-2 is about as big as you're going to get in this game.
Ground ball headed to the shortstop. Run will come home. The throw to first. So Casale crosses the plate, making it 6-3.
And Marte thought about it. You get the feeling if it's a closer game, infield probably be in anyway, but he had I think it crossed his mind to maybe try to cut down Casale at the plate, but they concede it.
Well, Steve Pearce, a 2-home run night. He had a 3-1 pitch out in the second and an 0-2 pitch out in the fourth. And this one up the middle, but Cano is there out of the shift to make the play. And the Rays settled for one. They make it a 3-run game, down 6-3.
6-3. Earlier you heard from Kevin Kiermaier who he would want on a deserted island with him. Guys, who do you think he wouldn't want on a deserted island with him? Any guesses? I'll put the fedora on that the Rays are giving away Saturday while you think about this. He's in the starting lineup tonight. Any thoughts?
Steve Pearce. He would be so cranky out there and be sitting here trying to boss me around like he always does. So definitely he comes to mind. But I like him a lot too. But me and him have a pretty funny relationship together. So.
So there you go, Steve Pearce, deserted island, would not want to be with him. I think you could imagine if he was annoyed having one of those faces that BA is infamous for, that we show every once in a while. Guys, back to you.
Are you insinuating that BA could be cranky as well?
Just on that one face that we've seen.
Well,
new pitcher for the Rays, Eddie Romero. He faces Dae-Ho Lee in the first pitch as a ball.
You know what? Here's the thing. We didn't have enough time to blurt out an answer. I was going to go with Steve Pearce just because of the Steve Pearce face. You see him sometimes when he's annoyed coming back into the dugout. You don't want to be stuck with that look by yourself. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It could get weird.
Or that face. How about that one?
That's deranged. I wish that picture would go away. See, that is not as good as Todd with the headband. It's not even close.
Well, they both are sending messages, but nowhere near the same message.
Well, see, here's the thing. When I see that picture, I make that face. It works in tandem.
One away, Romero in relief of Drew Smiley. A little roller here, and Eddie's going to get the tag. That'll be the second out. Sardinez is now 0 for 3.
I think next time you would prefer any to get that ball and flip it to first base. You know, you go make a tag. That's a play that pitchers don't do a whole lot. You make you see right there, he's kind of stretching himself out a little bit. You make an unnatural movement and end up hurting yourself.
Just proving, however, by making that play, that pitchers are athletes.
Listen, I like that a lot. I mean, I love the fact that pitchers, can make athletic moves. But you come off the mound and get that little ground ball, just flip it to your first baseman and head back to that little bump in the middle of the field.
Leonys Martin takes a pitch for a ball. A 5-inning outing for Smiley tonight. And he's touched for six runs, 10 hits, and a couple of home runs. A 2-run homer by Franklin Gutierrez and a 3-run home run by Dae-Ho Lee. Two and one. Ground ball. It's Beckham righting himself and making the throw. 1, 2, 3 in the 6th. We go to the 7th. 6-3 Seattle. .com to learn more. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by your Southern Chevy dealers. Elliott Babe, Puget Sound here in Seattle.
It's awful.
Late night with the Rays, and that headband is going around.
That's awful.
Rays facing Wade Miley. Steven Souza Jr. takes the pitch down.
We need less of that and more Todd with wet hair.
It's early on the West Coast, might be late in the Eastern time zone. So there's time. Two and 0 the count to Souza Jr. There's a high shot deep to left. That baby's going to get out of here. And a home run for Steven Souza Jr. That's his 8th. So Steven Souza Jr. comes home out of Cascade High School in Everett, Washington. And he has a good contingent of fans here tonight. And they're cheering on that home run to make it 6-4.
Well, and I know where they are. I mean, you can hear them out in the crowd, the entire group. Boy, that ball got blasted. That's the one thing that we've seen from Steven Souza Jr. You know, he's a strong guy, strong hands, a lot of leverage, and when he hits a ball square, that ball jumps.
Well, suddenly it's a 2-run game and a pitching change coming. Out of the night for the Rays in front of family and friends here in Seattle, and here it is.
Boy, don't allow him to get fully extended and hit a ball like that. Man. The back of that scoreboard.
So that's it for Wade Miley. The Rays have 4 runs, 4 hits, 3 home runs, and a double. And Nick Vincent, whom the Mariners acquired at the end of March from San Diego, and he has some impressive numbers, making his 14th appearance. Desmond Jennings. There's a first pitch strike. 97 pitches for Miley. Jennings trying to break out of the doldrums. Behind now 0-2.
See, that's that same swing. He's trying to get up to that baseball. It's a little bit long. It's a little bit slow.
Ball, 2 strikes. Tim Beckham is on deck. Two. Couple of shots off the plate wide there, ahead in the count. Now it's 2-2. Three balls and 2 strikes.
Give yourself a chance here. You forced him into a situation. He's got to come back out over the plate. You don't want to walk.
3-2, and it's lifted into center field. Martin is right there for it. First out of the 7th inning, and Desmond now 0 for 3.
Well, Nick Vincent, cut fastball, fastball. That's his combination. A little subtle cut. That's what he threw right there. Vast majority of those pitches to Desmond Jennings were cutters.
It's Tim Beckham. Beckham pops it up right side. Cano out after this one. Cruz coming in. It's going to be Cruz from right field to make the catch. So 2 gone. Kevin Kiermaier 0 for 2 so far in this game, on to face Vincent. Vincent spent part of the year in San Diego with the Padres last year. 0-1, but a .235 in 26 games. He first got to the big leagues in 2012. Part of 13, part of 14, part of 15 with San Diego. 1-0, and now here in Seattle.
You know, and he came into the season, or come into this game, 163 and 2/3 innings, and over that span, a .253 earned run average. Pretty impressive. All those innings spread out, and without having real overpowering stuff.
Yeah, he's 89 or so, and big on the, as you pointed out, on the cutter. More than half his pitches. It's that cutter and fastball, once in a while a changeup. 3-0 on Kiermaier.
With power on deck, base runner. That's all the Rays are looking for here. Give yourself a shot.
3-1. Souza Jr. opened the inning with a home run. 1 of 3 the Rays have hit tonight. And now we go all the way out to 3-2. All 4. There it is. The Rays will get the potential tying run to the plate on just the 2nd walk they've drawn tonight against Seattle pitching. Well, Kurt Casale is due up. See what we have. How about this? Kevin Cash is going to go to the big left-handed bat, and Corey Dickerson to pinch hit here, looking for some lightning.
Well, we all know what's going on here. Corey Dickerson is going to go out there and look to tie this game up, period.
So Dickerson officially in the game, and out comes Scott Service the Seattle manager. He wanted to make sure that Dickerson had officially been entered. And so Seattle will make a pitching change, and they want the lefty Nuno to counteract this move by the Rays. Well, we have a moment here. Let's check in with Todd for more Late Night with the Rays.
Some of the questions involve choosing one or the other. Here's one with Kevin Kiermaier, and Mike Tyson's the topic.
Would you rather fight Mike Tyson or have to talk like him the rest of your life?
Wow. I'd probably fight him and just wear the concussion or whatever would happen to me. But wow, that is a really tough question, TK. But I would just hope that he would not. Oh man, I mean, he would hurt me. I would just. Hopefully he jabbed me, then just fake being knocked out, and just, hey, that's defined as fighting him. So, yeah, I mean, everyone has their own unique voices and everything, but you know, I take one for the team right there and wear one on the chin for that.
There you go, Kevin Kiermaier with one or the other. Back to you.
Yeah, and after answering that question, he might have to fight him.
Well, and think about it. If he catches him right, I don't know. I'm kind of with him on all of his answers.
Yeah.
And you're right. When you drop something like that, Late Night with the Rays, it finds a way to work its way around, and he may be getting a phone call. His agent may be getting a phone call. A pay-per-view in the offseason.
Kevin have to rely on that quickness.
Yeah, it's his only shot. It's his only shot.
Well, right now, Kevin Kiermaier's at first with 2 gone. And Vidal Nuno enters the game, making his 12th appearance. The Rays calling upon Corey Dickerson to pinch hit. He's hitting in the place of Casale. Our pinch hitter presented by Pinch-A-Penny. Dickerson homered last night. Led off the 4th inning against Felix Hernandez and hit a home run to left. His 7th of the year. And now Dickerson facing Nuno. The first pitch is in there for a strike. Dickerson has faced Nuno before. He's 0 for 3 against him. One. Meanwhile, both bullpens stay busy. Steve Johnson throwing in the bullpen for Seattle, and Erasmo Ramirez up in the Rays bullpen.
They're doing a nice job of showing some patience here, laying off those pitches that clearly Nuno wants him to try to extend the zone. They know it's no secret how aggressive Corey Dickerson is, but being smart in this at-bat.
2-2. You got the plate on that one, Nuno.
Yeah, that was an odd swing too. Yeah, that was an 84-mile-an-hour breaking ball that Corey Dickerson was late on. Almost like he had it in his mind he was not going to swing there, or not certainly looking for that pitch.
For the first, Kiermaier drew the 2-out walk. fall back. Nuno, between Arizona and Seattle last year, was in 35 games. 10 of those starts and gave up 15 home runs. Just one of those to a left-handed hitter.
That's all it takes is one more.
A 2-2 count. Just a bit of that one staying alive up there. Fouling it off Iannetta.
Well, and I'll tell you what, if Nuno doesn't make a nasty pitch, these swings by Corey Dickerson have gotten better and better during this at-bat.
Ball game in the 7th. Rays have trailed 3-0, 3-1, 3-2, 6-2, 6-3. It's now 6-4. A man on, 2 outs, 2-2 the count. And a swing and a miss. Dickerson down to one knee as he strikes out to end the top of the 7th inning. Rays get a run on the leadoff home run by Steven Souza Jr. His 8th of the year. 7th inning stretch time for Seattle with the score 6-4. Rays down by a pair. A 2-run ball game onto the bottom of the 7th inning. Hank Conger takes over behind the plate. He'll go into the 6th spot in the lineup as Corey Dickerson stays on to play left after pinch hitting. So he'll be hitting 9th. Ketel Marte, and a strike to count on him. Gutierrez next, and then Cano. Chop foul outside of third. Jenny Romero in relief from Drew Smiley, who pitched the first 5 innings. Romero had a 1-2-3-6. A ball, 2 strikes. Has been on twice tonight. 2 hits and 3 at bats. Went 4 for 5 last night. Struck the big blow, a 3-run home run in the 6th inning that broke a 2-2 tie. And a little piece of that one foul. Here's the home run last night.
Your ball game right there. Elevated fastball from Steve Geltz, capping off a huge night for the Mariners shortstop.
Only 22 years old. 2-2. The pitch thrown into the dirt.
Tons of energy. Just the way that he handles the bat, really from both sides of the plate. Seen a lot of them over here on this side, but tremendous bat control.
Did he go? It's a foul tip. And so he's out of there.
Did not matter.
Marte out on strikes. Jerry Lane making that call.
And you'd think he went anyway. That was a twofer right there. Little foul tip, a little bit too far on the swing.
And Franklin Gutierrez. Strike. Rays have out homered the Mariners 3-2, but they trail 6-4. And the former Ray, Joel Peralta, gets up in the bullpen. A 2-strike count to Gutierrez. He's in left field tonight after playing right field last night. 2 strikes. Popped up. It's a foul ball. Pierce down from first. Conger decided to peel off. Pierce gave him that look, and he peeled off.
See? I mean, Hank Conger's protected. He's got gear on. He's a big guy himself, and even he doesn't want to be anywhere around the look.
Pierce says, "I got it." And he does. Well, here's Robinson Cano. The first pitch he takes is a strike. Greater coverage of baseball brought to you by T-Mobile. And Cano has been red hot, leading the league in home runs. Grounds this one to third. Longoria throws him out. Another 1-2-3 inning for Enny Romero. We go to the 8th. Rays down by a couple. More baseball to come on Late Night with the Rays from Seattle. We're through 7. Steve Pearce, a couple of home runs for the Rays. Steven Souza Jr. has hit one. Dae-Ho Lee hit a 3-run home run in the 4th inning. That capped that 3-run frame, and at the time made it a 6-2 game. The Rays got a run in the 6th, another run in the 7th on the Souza Jr. home run. And Joel Peralta, in his time with the Rays, 296 games with 115 holds. And this will be the 2nd straight night the Rays have seen him.
Well, you know what to expect. Deliberate, very good split. Move the fastball around the zone. Sprinkling a breaking ball every now and then. They've got the scouting report. Let's see what they can do off him.
Brandon Guyer, top of the order, looks at a strike. Guyer doubled in the 6th inning. Rays had men at 2nd and 3rd, nobody out, and settled for 1 run in that frame. Soft away, off the plate. 1-1. Peralta worked the 8th inning last night, facing Miller, Longoria, Dickerson, and Souza. Walk Longoria, and that was it. 1-2 on Guyer.
Now, and did you see Joel Peralta motion to Iannetta what he wanted to do with the next pitch? As soon as Brandon Guyer looked away, he made a head motion to move away, or maybe it was a pitch that they have predetermined. But he told Iannetta where he wanted him.
2-2, down and away out of the zone. Rays with 2 shots left, down by 2. Right back over the screen. The count remains at 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Thus far, Peralta forcing Brandon Guyer. If he's going to beat him, he's got to beat him to the big part of the park, staying away with everything. See if that continues.
Well, the count's full now. Guyer laying off that pitch way down. It's Brad Miller on deck. Toronto leading San Francisco on the top of the 9th at San Francisco, 2-0. Foul straight back. So far, everybody in the American League East winners, Baltimore, Boston, and New York, all with victories. We'll be with you when the Rays are back home Friday against Oakland, and our coverage begins at 6:30 on Fox Sports Sun. Three-two again. Guyer's out on strikes. Fastball up, got him. That's the first out of the 8th. Here's what's coming up Friday on Rays Live. Pre-game show presented by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. Orestes will break down Stephen Vogt, and we'll hear from the Rays catcher Kurt Casale. Brad Miller looking for his first hit tonight. no strikes. There's a broken bat, base hit the other way into left field. Miller is aboard. So the Rays get a base runner, and again they'll get the potential tying run to the plate.
Well, you're getting the right guys. Here's a breaking ball. Miller stays on it, slices it into left field, and you get Longoria coming up here. You've got Steve Pearce waiting on deck, who's already gone deep twice.
Evan drove in a run with a ground ball. That was in the 6th inning. Peralta faced him last night and walked him. One on, one out. Pitch is too low. And Steve Pearce follows Longoria. Peralta paying attention to Miller at first base. Peralta never in a hurry when he's out there on the mound.
No, you have opposite ends of the spectrum. The way that Wade Miley and Drew Smyly kind of set the tone is working quickly. Peralta wants to slow everything down.
And a take on a pitch too high. It's 2-0. Webb and Ramirez in the bullpen for the Rays. Takes ball 3 low. There's the closer, Steve Cishek. We saw him last night picking up his 10th save of the year. And a strike call. Just a little bit of that zone, but it's 3-0. So now a 3-1 count. I mean, Evans had that look on his face all night over balls and strikes.
You can't blame him. I mean, it really has been a coin flip.
And now he takes strike 2. 3-2. One on, one out, a full count on Longoria. And a swing and a miss. Fastball got him. Peralta challenged him with a fastball and strikes him out.
Did the same thing with Brandon Guyer. I mean, this fastball, and it is not like that's 95, 96. A little bit of elevation, and Evan trying to drive that ball out of here ends up coming up short.
Well, 2 outs. Scott Service, the manager, heads to the mound with the idea of going to the bullpen. He has his closer hot. Back in a moment. Fox Sports Sun brought to you by Jeep. Visit Jeep.com to learn more. By Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop ChooseNissan.com. And by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. In Seattle, late night with the Rays.
Ooh, cookies, anyone?
It's getting close to that time. Well, Steve Pearce has had a 2-home run night. 2 for 3. One came in the second. Got ahead 3-1, and this one, BA, down in the count 0-2.
Yeah, and Miley tried to come in with a fastball, didn't quite get it in there, and that cost him another run.
So it's Steve Cishek against Steve Pearce. The pitch is wide. You saw the 2-home run night for Pearce, the 4th of his career. One of those came at the expense of the Rays last September. 2-0. Cishek faced Morrison, Geyer, and Kiermaier last night. Picking up the save. Now 2-0 to Pearce. There's a strike. Drops it over. Tied for the American League lead in saves with 10. Bit of that one foul. Just a slurvy delivery there.
Well, he's got the deceptive arm angle, the good fastball that he's able to get some good velocity with, and then that little slider that he's used to get back in this count.
A 2-2 count. Way wide. With that same pitch, and the count is full.
An easy take there for Steve Pearce. That ball was yanked badly by Cishek. You know, what he's trying not to do is to leave one spinning and hanging over the plate, because those are you got a hitter up there that's dialed in. Being too careful.
And that is ball 4. Pushing Miller up to second base as Pearce is on for the 3rd time, drawing the base on balls. And that will get Steven Souza Jr. Cricket Wireless something to smile about here in Seattle, the hometown guy. It's a home run for the Rays. Steven Souza Jr. belting a 2-0 pitch out of here off the scoreboard and left in the 7th inning.
Oh, another power threat. And I'll tell you what, this would be a big one.
Pitch outside, 1-0.
Cishek hasn't even been close with a lot of these pitches. Trying to be very careful, understanding. Well, he's out there in the bullpen. He was under siege from a couple of these shots.
Single and a walk, 2 men on, 2 men out. 1-0 the count. It's a no pitch. Time called and granted. Souza getting his first look at Steve Cishek. Couple of fastballs, one missed plenty wide, and that one missed down. To go 2 balls, no strikes. That's a strike there. 2-1. Hank Conger's in the 6th spot. He's on deck. 2 outs, 2 men aboard. And ball 3. Now 3-1. A little extra on that fastball.
Fastball and a fastball count. He's trying to amp up, and he's clearly not wanting to be out over the plate with either Pierce or Sousa Jr.
And he gets a strike.
Painted himself into a corner. He's got to attack now.
A full count. He went 3-2. Walk Pierce. 3-2 to Sousa Jr. A high fly ball into right field. Cruz headed toward the corner, and he makes the catch. That ball fair. He held on down there toward the corner. The Rays threaten in the 8th, but leave 2 and trails 6-4. Going to lead off the bottom of the 8th, made the catch in the top of the inning that ended the Rays' threat. He covered some ground.
He did, and I don't think you realize how close the Rays came to tying that ball game up. A couple of runners aboard, 2 outs, they would have scored. He had to run a long way and then make that catch. That ball clearly is going to be fair, and he stole one.
Had just enough hang time to serve the Mariners and Cruz in their best interest. And so Ryan Webb will take over on the mound for the Rays. His job to hold Cruz, Ionetta, and Seager to this 2-run lead, give the Rays one final shot in the 9th. Cruz doubled his first time up tonight. He is 1 for 3. Pitch is a strike. 2 good innings for Eddie Romero. Faced 6 men, picked up a strikeout. And now it's Webb. Center field, base hit. Kiermaier picks it up, and Cruz is aboard.
Well, you know what you see with Ryan Webb and the issue that he has with that sinker, and that's his big pitch. That ball moving down towards the ground. He wants to have a lot of ground balls, uses infielders, but right now, instead of that pitch sinking, it just has more tailing action. It doesn't have a lot of depth up and down vertically. It's more of a fade, and that is allowing these hitters to get good swings at it.
And a lot of time those sinker ball pitchers like that will tell you it gets better The more appearances they get, the more work they get, the better the sinker is. 1-1 to count to Iannetta. Of course, that's true of most pitchers with whatever pitch they throw, but it seems really to be the case with that sinker.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely finesse type guys that want to be out there about every other day to stay sharp. Almost feel like they have too much power, and they throw through the sink, they get a little bit of fade, and it typically doesn't go as well for them.
Yeah, and it's been a week since he's been out there. His last outing 7 days ago against the Dodgers. Keeping an eye on Cruz. Rays need to hold the Mariners right where they are. Ground ball back to the mound. Should be two. Wide throw. They get the lead man. So they at least get Cruz, but boy, there was a double play, and Webb made a throw wide and high, and Beckham managed to get the tag.
Well, he managed a good sinker to the plate, but then threw the ball with too much fade to second. And that ball just takes off on him. Beckham able to corral it and then get the tag into the chest of Cruz. But that was an opportunity missed right there, because that was a set up to be an easy double play.
Now he'll face Kyle Seager, who drove in a run with a fly ball to right in the first inning, singled and scored in the fourth. There's a strike to Seager. Play 0-2. Dae-Ho Lee is on deck, and we've already seen the kind of power he has. Ball, 2 strikes. Mariners have led throughout. Dana Evelyn moving in the bullpen. He's going to start to throw. Inside. 2-2. There's Lee on deck. His home run in the 4th inning. The difference in the game right now. An opposite field 3-run shot. Just a little piece of it, a foul ball. Seager will get another shot. Ball into left. Dickerson will make the catch on that one. So 2 outs now. Coming up, Rays Live, the post game presented by Checkers. We'll gladly be here to anchor the post game coverage. We'll hear from Kevin Cash on his press conference, and Todd Callis providing interviews from the clubhouse. Well, here's the difference now, the inability to complete that double play. The Rays are going to have to face Dae-Ho Lee again and his danger power bat.
Well, we saw that with a changeup that's going to be off the plate. Yes, it's got a little bit of elevation to it, but it's off the plate, and he just flips it. I mean, stays behind it, very powerful, but just flips that ball the other way, made that look way too easy.
This one low, bounding away, and up to second base goes Iannetta. A wild pitch charged to Ryan Webb.
Oh, a breaking ball right here in the dirt, and Hank Conger, that ball right off the thumb of the glove, was not able to smother it, keep it in front, and Iannetta was pretty good with his reaction.
One and one now. One the count on Lee. Upstairs 2-1. That's a strike call. 2-2. Runner at second is Chris Iannetta, the catcher. 2 outs, 2-2 the count to Lee. High chop, third. Longoria with the throw to first. In the 8th, the Mariners do not score, they leave one. Conger, Beckham, and Kiermaier due up in the 9th for the Rays. For the Seattle Mariners, Nori Aoki takes over in left, and Gutierrez moves from left to right field. Martin remains in center. He is the anchor now defensively of that outfield. And the Rays will send Hank Conger to the plate to lead it off in the 9th inning. They need at least a base runner to have a chance to extend this game. Down by 2 runs. Logan Morrison on deck. So the Rays will send some left-handed bats up here, and Conger, then Morrison and Kiermaier. For Conger, this is his first at bat of the night, facing the right-hander Steve Cishek, who faced 2 hitters in the 8th, walked 1, and then got Souza Jr. on a fly ball that was caught toward the right field corner. 1-1 to count on Conger.
You would expect Cishek to be much more aggressive than he was in that first inning. I think he was trying to keep the ball out of the heart of the plate against Pierce and Souza Jr., missing wildly. And here he's fallen behind once again.
Rays need a base runner. And the count goes to 2-2. Ground ball the other way, and there's a base hit. Rays get that base runner. Conger got it through the left side. And so the Rays have a man aboard. And Logan Morrison coming on to pinch hit for Beckham.
Yeah, that's all you could ask for. Now you've got a few shots at this. Conger seeing a steady diet of fastballs, just stays inside it, lets that ball start to run towards the outside corner, and shoots it into left field.
Well, Morrison started last night, had a base hit in 4 at-bats. And the pitch is upstairs.
This could be one of those at-bats, too, that turns a season around.
Pitch breaking down and in, and Morrison tried to stop, but could not. It's Trip Gibson on the call down there. A 1-1 count. And that one drops in there for a strike. That slurvy slider he's got. Foul ball in on him. Count still 1-2 to Morrison. That's Kevin Kiermaier on deck. And any deeper, Dickerson would have another chance. Morrison out on strikes.
Well, when you get a guy from down under like Cishek is, that is able to elevate, sidewinder elevated, that's a tough pitch. You see Darren O'Day do that a lot with Baltimore, but not at the velocity that Cishek does it.
Now Kevin Kiermaier, 0 for 2. He walked in the 7th inning. Takes the slider at the knees for a strike. Did he go? Yes, he did, says Gibson. 0-2. So a couple of sliders to get the jump on Kiermaier.
Man, just a little bit too far on that swing. You know, that slider's not huge, but it's such a change from the sidearm sinker that just runs and runs and runs.
And a foul ball, he got just a little bit of that one, a fastball.
Tried to come up in that with that one too.
Corey Dickerson on deck. Upstairs. A ball, 2 strikes. Kiermaier is out on strikes. Back to the slider to get him. So the Rays down to their final out. It's going to be Corey Dickerson, who homered here last night off Felix Hernandez, his 7th home run of the year. And he'll be facing Cishek. Dickerson, 1 of 3 that hit a home run in his career against Steve Cishek. That's what the Rays need here. First pitch is a strike. Corey didn't like that call. Right at the lower end of the zone. Rays got a leadoff single from Conger. 2 outs now. And a take on the pitch wide. 1-1. Down to a knee and a cut and a miss. Swing on the slider. Pitch is up. He did not go. With a fastball up there.
Well, that's been the combo that's been working for Cishek here in this inning. A lot of the breaking balls effective, and a few fastballs that he's tried to pop up in the zone.
And a swing and a miss. He ends it with a fastball. Striking out Dickerson. After the leadoff single, 3 strikeouts to end it, and it's a 6-4 final tonight in Seattle. The Mariners taking the first 2 games of this series from the Rays. Last night 5-2, and tonight 6-4. Here's the final pitch of the game. Cishek works an inning and a third in relief to close it out. Now for Brian Anderson and Todd Callis, the rest of our crew, Dwayne Stats. Hope you've enjoyed the telecast, if not the outcome. We'll be with you next on Friday when the Rays are home against the Oakland A's. Our coverage begins at 6:30. Rays Live, the postgame presented by Checkers, is next.